Not too long ago, I had wrote a story, and it doesn't have a title just yet, but it's my take on recent events. I self isolated at home before it was announced that we were all in lockdown, that everyone had to do it to get through it, stay at home, protect others, and save lives. I live by myself. I think I was self isolating 3 weeks before the lockdown was announced, simply because I had nothing to do. I couldn't get out. I didn't really have a set routine. I like to mix things up, do something different. I had a structure, it was a loose one, and it was working for me until the world just stopped. Everything shut down. I went to this place called New Horizons. It was where I went every day, and there was always classes, and I always tried to do something new that I could be remotely interested in. One day, the bus wasn't going anymore, and that was that. Well, at least I still have jiu-jitsu. Nope, gym's shut down. Well, at least I could still audition for shows. Nope, theatre's closed. And it wasn't long before the cinemas closed. I found it very frustrating that gyms had to close when exercise was suggested for things to do. In fact, it's actually beneficial for your immune system. Gyms could have been a place where they could have adapted quickly. They always had to keep the place clean anyway, and just add hand sanitizer and limit people in the gym, and Bob's your uncle. Sorted. Anyway, it couldn't have came at a worse time. I wasn't too long out of the psych ward. I had a complete psychotic break in January. I was a bit too high for my own good. Not because I took any drugs or anything like that. Naturally, I produce too much dopamine when I constantly do things I enjoy to the extreme. Although I may tell myself that there could have been other factors, like energy drinks, and I was taking those every day. I've cut down now. I came back home in March, trying to get back into the swing of things again. Try to get back into work. I heard about the coronavirus before I was in the hospital, but I didn't think doomsday was going to happen. Everyone paranoid and shit. People being manic on the roads. Panic buying. I went to US bar. No bread in the shelves. I heard it was worse than little. And whilst I was gradually coming down from my own fight or flight, I had experienced other people's. It was bizarre, but it's a survival trait. People be irrational when there's a threat looming, thinking about themselves and their own first. Basic instinct, primal instinct. I was glad to be home, glad to get home. I still wasn't right, but I was glad to be home. And whilst everything was closed, I was still sweet because I still had Netflix and played my video games, as well as eat, sleep, and shite to my heart's content. But even that gets boring. I was having too much downtime, and I had to get away from social media and just unplug because I didn't like the way the world was going. So I just shut myself down completely, retracted. However, for a time, I still trying to write poetry, even though some of it may have been a bit wacky. Eventually, you burn out and just run out of that energy. In a way, the lockdown helped. In other ways, it didn't. Couldn't meet up with my friends anymore. Everything was shit. If there could have been a more appropriate time to have a psychotic break, it would have definitely been in March. Though, in a way, I was kind of laughing to myself Because now other people kind of know how I was feeling when I was in hospital, to an extent, in a way. But you go up against anything when you're restricted, you feel like you're getting punished. And eventually you get so wound up and irritated to the point of fatigue. And the only way out is that you have to comply. But it's going to take a while. And whilst it may be for your own good or the greater good, you're missing traveling, missing seeing people. Start thinking about who is the most important people in your life or person. Missing the things you love to do, your hobbies, activities, your groups. And to an extent, you feel like you're getting robbed from your life or having a life. And the worst feeling ever, when you don't feel like yourself anymore, that a part of you is lost. But at least you're still breathing. And whilst I want to survive and don't want to die, it's the quality of life that makes things exciting and worthwhile. I had already appreciated the small things in life. I didn't need to learn that lesson. But most of you probably did.